Hello, small ladies. Hello, friends, one and all. Welcome back to Like Anime. My name's George, and with me, as always,
Anime Princess 14.
is that.
No, that's my name.
Oh, you're Anime Princess 14?
Yeah.
Do you hail from Rangemorph?
Uh, no? Where'd you get that idea?
Maybe that's your surname? I don't know. Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm Tony.
this is Tony, but without further ado, the shout out is like bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
We have some great news. We got shout outs to Dole.
Yeah, we got a new patron. We kind of touched on this at the end of last episode. But yeah, we have a patron who patronized us at the I don't know, is that the right word?
I think he's showing his patronage, or their.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm signing genders. I don't know. They have they're giving patronage.
Yes. They have pledged at the level of the Duke or Duchess of the patrons, meaning that they get a once a month shout out. And if you would like a shout out, you can subscribe or pledge at one of those levels as well. And I mean, you could get once a week shout out. You could get every episode shout out for just the small price of $50 a month. It's not much, right? Anyway, we should probably get on to actually shouting out our newest patron.
Yes, Anime Princess 14, as you.
Yes, I was trying to steal the name because I thought it was great.
I want to be Anime Princess 14.
It's almost as good as Vegeta Fan 69.
Hmm.
who is not a patron, by the way. So no shout outs for Vegeta Fan 69 at this point.
Except So
except that I've said it twice now.
Yeah. I have a whole list of people we're not going to shout out. So if you allow me to read from it.
Yeah, Vegeta Fan 69, as far as I know, is just a made up thing. Some YouTuber that I watch.
Like a joke thing.
Yes, it's this sort of he doesn't do them anymore, but he used to do sort of these skits where he would be like a ridiculous shonen anime reviewer, basically.
Oh, okay.
And
be ridiculous.
The personality of this character that he was playing was pretty much summed up in the name Vegeta Fan 69. So, anyway, anyone who gets that reference, good for you. Good job.
Good job. And thank you, Anime Princess 14. You the Duchess of Like Anime at the moment.
I mean, if you had contributed like $10 a month more, you could have been a princess, but
Well, hey.
But that's okay.
Hey.
We're quite happy with where you're at.
Yes. I mean, this is.
In fact, we were actually surprised.
This shatters all our previous.
That's right.
Patrons.
Yeah. You are contributing more yourself than all of our other patrons put together currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's saying a lot.
Yep. And we appreciate it, and I've been renewed. I'm ready to, without further ado, let's give these fierce anime opinions. Very emphatic.
Is that what you were expecting?
I love it. You're that. I mean, for anyone that doesn't speak Tony, that right there conveys the utmost, not only respect for our patrons and our listeners, but he's raring to go.
Yeah, it's sort of like when Tone Loc said "Let's do it" at the beginning of that one song. Which song was that? Like Anime.
Exactly. So why don't we move on and you tell us? We'll kick off this week in anime, and you can tell us a little bit about a new show, The Great Jahy will not be defeated.
The Great Jahy will not be defeated. Correct. So this show I'm calling as anime of the season already because in any list where you're making a list of the best anime of the season, The Great Jahy will not be defeated.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore it must be the best anime of the season, right?
Yeah, that's canon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's right in the title. Anyway, no, it's cute and it's funny and it's got boobs and yeah. I don't think it. I think George was worried that they were gonna sort of HE up the underage girl, the prepubescent girl, who is the main character, who initially starts out as an older person in the demon realm, and then when she gets transported to the human realm, she ends up being a kid, but she can turn herself back into her normal form with this, mana stone thing she's got or whatever. But,
okay. And when she's older, she's scantily clad, but when
very
she's
scantily
younger,
clad, yeah.
which inappropriately young, she has an oversized T-shirt. And
yes, and the reason for that is sort of explained in this episode,
nice.
Because the clothes that she buys are for her adult size self, because like when she goes to work, that's what she wears, is like adult size clothes. She, uses her power to turn herself into a normal adult sized person, so that she can work a job to pay rent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then when her, when she's not using that power to make herself into a adult sized person, she turns into a child, and then she's suddenly wearing oversized shirts.
Yeah, which is a cute. I didn't watch this, but you were watching it near me at last minute catch up, I think.
Yeah,
and so I saw a little part of it, and it does seem cute and funny. I wonder if those jokes kind of get repetitive. There's only one episode, but it seemed like
it's not a lot to go on yet, I guess.
Yeah, it's just one thing, but it does definitely seem cute and fun, light comedy.
Yeah. And it looks like it's just another slice of life. Like probably not going to get a lot of coverage in the future. That's why I wanted to mention it up front here. It's out. It's available. It's on Crunchyroll, not on Funimation. #FuckFunny.
Another reason it won't be defeated.
Yeah, there you go. If it was on Funimation, it would very easily be defeated by Funimation itself.
It would just be called The Great Jahy Has Been Defeated.
The Great Jahy is on Funimation. That's all you need to say. Anyway, I don't know what else to really say about that. It's cute. It's funny. It looks all right so far. I'd give it like a 6, and I'll probably keep watching it. It's as long as it doesn't really go down the HE route too much, which they're borderline with all the boob jokes and
it seemed.
I noticed in the opening credits, like your comment about it being sort of an HE show, and it looks like it's potentially an HE sort of show. But yeah, I noticed during the opening credits that every single female character has large boobs. Yeah,
and the one scene I saw in this first episode involves the large boobs of one character, and but it was like mostly it was played for laughs, instead of like making it creepy or weird or So that's I think that's kind of like if it must be in there. It's better to go that route of like, just light humor versus like, creepy sexual situations.
Yeah. So in the writers' meeting, they were like, hey, we haven't shown a boob shot in like 5 minutes in this script. So how can we justify it? Oh, I know. We'll put in a little joke so that we can show some boobs. Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
That works.
You reverse engineer the etchiness.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. That's genius. How far we've come, anime. All right. So that sounds like we can move on from the Jahy, and that brings us.
No, she won't be defeated, George.
Oh, so do we have to keep talking about her?
We're just going to talk about her for the rest of the show, apparently. All right. Well, let's move on.
All right. That brings us to unfortunately for a Funimation show. I'll just say it's a dirty word. Mm-hmm. It's a Funimation show, and it's called Kageki Shojo.
I mean, I already dropped the hashtag, so
Yeah, but it just it keeps rearing its head. Has to be mentioned again, I guess.
Yes, every time we mention Funimation.
So you like this show?
Yes.
But Funimation's getting in the way of you watching it.
Yes.
So you're not caught up. I think you've seen the first 2 episodes. I don't know if you watched any since last we spoke.
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
How many episodes are there now?
Oh no, you must have seen the first 3, because the 3rd episode has the very uncomfortable backstory of I.
Okay.
And then the 4th kind of completes that.
Oh, right. And I hadn't seen the 4th, and now we're on the 5th?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, is it okay if I spoil things?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil it for you, but it's kind of hard to talk about it. Some things. But this was set up, I think, in maybe the second, but probably the third episode. And it wasn't like a main thing, and I loved how they did it. They kind of sprinkled it in with this character that's in the troupe, the Coca troupe, or I don't know how to say it, Kouka, Coca. I guess is that right?
Yeah, you just say the O for a little bit longer. I think.
Coca.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's another girl that's in the Coca troupe. Her name is Yamada Ayako, and what they set up in like episode 2 or 3 is that one of the teachers kind of berates her in front of everyone for putting on a little too much weight.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And so, like, even in the covering that, it was just like, you kind of see her intermittently while other things are happening throughout second and third episode, I think, and we get a hint that she is starving herself, making herself throw up, and then this starts to affect, leading into this 5th episode, it starts to affect her singing performance. She's often singing too quiet, probably, doesn't have enough energy probably. And there's this other male teacher who is kind of more, more caring and kind of doting, kind of looking out for the students more than this other female teacher who had berated her initially. And so he starts to take notice of this, and he eventually in this episode brings it up to that other teacher, and she's like, no, we have to be harsh with them. Like, they're going to receive a lot of criticism, and like, I'm standing firm on this. But he disagrees, but we get more and more of her, like, her struggle with that. She starts to get like blurred vision, like while she's trying to sing and stuff, and there's a scene where she passes out, and I don't know. It's like this show, harking back to that 3rd episode. It's not afraid to get uncomfortable, but it's doing it for good character reasons and like setting this stuff up. Like, this kind of character is part of the troupe, but she's not one of the main characters. Nor has she really had a profound interaction with either of the main characters until this episode. At one point tries to reach out to her. She kind of walks on her in the bathroom and kind of realizes what's going on. She had been part of an idol group, and
she probably saw that kind of thing.
Yeah. So she's trying to give her advice and stuff, but Ayako just took it, wrongly, and she's, feeling very like her character type is very reserved and introverted and already kind of weak in that sense. And so she doesn't take, it's hard for her to take this criticism given everything that's happening. But then we get kind of a backstory with her, and her family is very supportive, and her sister, told her like that if she were able to get into this troupe, because she's wanted to do it since she was young, that she would like help pay for her school, like her tuition and stuff. And when she finally made it in, like, her sister, her parents were really happy, but her sister was over the moon for her, like just crying out of, just tears of joy and pride, for her sister. And so she feels like, she feels all this guilt about, she's thinking about quitting because of, how terribly things are going. But it ends, I won't spoil everything. It ends in a more, like, she goes through some stuff with that, and she kind of comes out feeling better about things, and kind of she gets some support from the other girls. But I just love this show. Like, it'll go to those places to advance the characters, and it's good. That's really all I want to talk about with it. Since you haven't seen it, not much to dive into, but I will definitely keep watching it.
Yeah, it sounds like they're keeping up the drama, which is to be expected, I guess.
Yeah. It's another show where I feel like I'm in good hands so far. But yeah, so that will bring us to our next show, which is the Aquatope on White Sand.
Oh, yes. Another show where I feel like we're in good hands.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. What happens in this episode? Let's see. So they decide they're going to set up the Touch Aquarium.
Oh, yes.
The Touch tanks, whatever they call them, where kids can come in and touch the fish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Fuka is assigned to sort of be the person in charge of the public part of that. What is it? What do they call her? Like not a presenter. I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget the word, but yeah, she interacts with the kids, so she kind of has to know more about the fish and the different sea creatures, and has to be a little more engaging with the kids. And I don't know.
Yeah, and at the same time, we start to see that her past as a former idol is starting to come up, like more people are becoming aware of this. And then it all sort of comes to a head in this episode where some younger people show up and are like, hey, isn't that former idol from that idol group or whatever? And she gets all weirded out because she's not she seems to have some social anxiety or something, like her being sort of in a public role like that was not really a comfortable place for her to be anyway. And then this just makes it even worse. But then, her and Kukuru, have a chat and become better friends. And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting too, especially comparing it to Kageki, which both feature ex-idols and them trying to pick up the pieces from that. Because like in this show, this is for Fuka. This is the first time she's had to address it. Like she had told Kukuru about it in private. And then during this episode before she's kind of approached by some people that recognize her. Kukuru's friends, like there's this bar where they go hang out and stuff. And they kind of like brought it up to her, like not around Fuka, like, what's going on with that? They didn't want to like, be presumptive or, hurt her feelings, very, very polite. But yeah, she hasn't had someone like recognize her like outright and just point her out, which we saw pretty immediately in Kageki. But this one, she's escaping it and she had done a good job at, kind of insulating herself with these new people, but now it's finally coming around. And yeah, I liked like when they had, like you said, they had her and Kukuru had this moment after that when she kind of needed to get away and they, had to talk about it. They both, because they brought up this theme of like when you're doing the touch pools, when you can touch the sea creatures or the fish or whatever, you kind of, gain a deeper understanding. You by feeling them, you kind of have this connection, and there's some quote unquote knowledge to be had there, by sharing that connection, and that's what they end up both doing, because they realize that they don't truly know each other that well, and so
they touch each other.
Yeah, Kukuru.
Not in the way that I just made it sound, though.
I think Fuka grabs Kukuru's hand and like puts it on her cheek, side of her face, and then it's reciprocated on the other end, and that's a very sweet moment. Like, I mean, I definitely thought of like, because they're around the same age, and like they don't seem to have they don't have other love interests, and so you gotta kind of wonder, is love blooming? But
yeah, is this shoujo ai or is this just friendship?
And I'm fine with either.
Could go either way at this point, yeah.
Because it's always like how they introduce it and settle into it. Sometimes it just comes off way too strong, and it's just kind of like no matter who the relationship's between, like I need you to build it up and guide me into it. And I mean, whether it's a friendship or there's something more, like they're doing a good job of it. Like it feels very wholesome and true to their situations. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's
anything else on that one?
No, I mean the god doesn't really do anything in this episode. We see her a couple times just sort of lazing about, but
still got the hat, Fuka's hat.
Yeah. She's just kicking it.
It's interesting.
She's going to be important at some point. She's got to be, right?
There's going to be some interaction, and
yeah.
I don't know. I am very curious where that's going, because so far it's been played very just like on a simmer. Like it's there, and they're letting us know that it's still an element, but hasn't been important necessarily yet.
Well, we got a lot of episodes, right?
That's true.
This is
24.
24, right? Yeah,
I believe so. I have a list here.
I think it's 24 if I remember right.
Yeah, 24. Yeah. 4 of 24. So
they got a long time to,
right. It makes me happy. We got much more Aquatope coming.
Makes me happy that it's on not Funimation.
Yes, that is also nice.
It's on Crunchyroll, by the way. I was just going to say it makes me happy that it's on Crunchyroll, but that's not the case.
Yeah, that's
not
the
fact
that
it's
not the
not
reason.
On Funimation.
Yeah. Makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
But segue, speaking of Funimation.
Speaking of things on Funimation.
One of my favorite shows this season, Sonny Boy. We did a deep dive on it, so to speak, a spotlight episode on it last week.
Yes.
Which was fun, and you hadn't seen you've only seen the first episode, and now we have the third episode out.
Yep.
And so I was kind of skirting around things, which I can continue to do. I just really like it. I love like the art style and everything, all that stuff we established, and it's still
Hmm.
great. But I just love how the story kind of unfolds. Like they're still doing this thing, like with this episode where it starts, and you remember the events of like because each episode ends with like some sort of revelation. Like they there's a new layer that they have more information that, and therefore we the audience
Mm.
have more information and kind of piecing what's going on together. For anyone that doesn't know, it's sort of um, a la the drifting classroom by way of what's that dang thing called? Lord of the Flies. There we go. So
Mm.
it's these high school students from this particular Japanese high school who have been transported to another dimension. We don't really know, and there's all these layers now. Like they have their school with them, and they've expanded upon like what's around them, and there's certain rules with this environment that they've learned. But it's like each episode, it kind of starts. It doesn't start like, and that's why I was talking about it's like not so spoon fed, but it doesn't start with the most natural like picking up from where we left off. It's like a little after that, and some stuff has happened, and
Mm.
you kind of see the character dynamics and who's talking to who and what they're talking about, and it kind of informs you of like what's going on. Kind of all comes to fruition, and then you understand what they're trying to do, next. And so it's been really fun. Like these characters continue to become more and more continue to have more and more depth, and they feel more lived in as time goes on. I already thought there, had a lot of good stuff going, but yeah, it's really good. It's a really good show. That ending theme is awesome. There's still no opening theme, which is kind of another unique thing about it, where it just
Mm.
dives right in. Just
Oh,
starts.
they got a lot of stuff to cover, I guess.
Yes, we did learn. I guess I can spoil that some because some of these characters have like superpowers or these abilities, and we learned in this episode that some of those people had those abilities before the classroom, vanished from
Oh,
or the school vanished. And one character in particular was like hearing a voice in his head that was kind of prompting him to what was about to happen. And so it's like,
oh.
okay, interesting. So that was kind of another wrinkle they left us with this episode, where it's like, all right, what's going on
Mm.
pre episode one? So yeah, it's good. I really recommend it. It's kind of like a puzzle box. Not I always thought of Westworld, an HBO show, not anime. But I always thought of that as kind of a puzzle box, but got a little too complicated for its own good for me personally. But this like has it feels like that, but it's a little more grounded. Like it's not trying to leave you, um, just completely puzzled. um,
It's not trying to leave you completely in the dark.
yes, yeah. There's a guiding.
That was supposed to be an allusion to the show. Like,
Oh yes,
yeah.
yes, that's right. That's right. Sometimes you gotta just say screw you, dark. And sometimes you gotta say screw you, Funimation. And so some people don't get to watch the show, and that's sad. And I hope that they fix their stuff.
Yes, I feel for you, all of the Chromecast users out there who want to watch this show.
Yeah,
Um,
and can't.
yeah.
But it'll be there waiting for you. As presumably they'll fix it. But that's kind of all I got for Sonny Boy this week, and I guess that'll bring us to Peach Boy Riverside. Tony,
Peach Boy Riverside. This is episode not 4, right? Is it 4?
5 of 12 is what
5,
I got.
right?
Here.
But it would be 4 if 1 were 1, but 1 was 4. And anyway, um, yeah. So
Speaking of being puzzled,
yeah. The confusion over the episode shuffle is not really in what's going on in the show. It's more about why they really did it, which I still don't get. Like some of the reasons they said was that the manga hadn't concluded yet when they started actually making the show. So I don't know if that means that they didn't know whether these parts were going to be important and maybe they were going to leave them out. And then once it had concluded, they decided, oh, we do need to do episode 1, but then they decided to put it in as episode 4. And I don't know. It's all a bit strange in how they did it, but it has gotten back to the formula that I thought it was going to be, which is basically we start off with them arriving in some town somewhere, and they fight some bad guy, and and then everything's okay, and then they probably do the same thing again next week, right?
Are we back to
Like,
Sally Frau?
yeah, Sally and Frau, and the other guy who was introduced in what would have been episode 1. It seemed like the reason they were introducing him is because he's going to be more important, even though we had seen him before. I don't know. Like, he must be more important, but he wasn't in this episode at all. Yeah, in this episode, Frau dies.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's episode 4, so I'm allowed to, or episode 5, so I can give spoilers now, right? Yeah, she's attacked by this vampire guy that basically just like explodes the entire top half of her body.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah. And then, she goes to heaven and gets sent back. And
Retcon.
then we find out that there's something else about Frau that we didn't really know. Like, they say that she's not just like a hare person or whatever, rabbit person. Honestly, it seems like she's probably a demon or something, which doesn't really make sense that she would go to heaven when she died, except that she's a good person. She's a demon, but she's disguising herself as this monster for some reason. Like, if she can just disguise herself as anything, why wouldn't she just disguise herself as a human? I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
so her story is more interesting now. Sally is kind of just the same, like nothing new there.
Okay.
The former Oni girl, who is now part of their crew, she's, going through some things about, no longer being an Oni anymore.
Was this the one that would like turn into a lowly girl if she?
Yeah, well, she is permanently stuck in lowly girl form now.
Convenient.
Because she when she was defeated, when she lost her horn, she was in lowly girl form, because she turns into lowly girl when she uses her power. She used her power to try and defeat this guy, the other, presumably other main character that we're going to see more of in the future. And then, yeah, when he cut off her horn, she was in lowly girl form. And so, yeah, she's a lowly girl for the rest of the show, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. There's interesting things happening, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
So
story revelation stuff, I guess.
So when Frau died and then she went to heaven and then she came back, was that all like in that sequence? Like it was just like boom, boom, boom. Now she's back. Oh, okay.
No, Frau died, and then the lowly Oni girl had a conversation with the person who killed Frau, who is also an Oni, and then Sally showed up and was gonna kick his butt, but then he ends up sort of kicking her butt, and then we see Frau in heaven, and she gets sent back, and then she grows these big giant bat wing, demon wing things, and half of her body's covered with like black stuff or whatever.
Okay.
And then she kills the Oni vampire guy.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool.
So yeah, it's interesting, and like they, Sally, and even Carrot. Carrot is the former Oni girl.
Oh, okay.
That's what they call her, is Carrot.
Okay.
I'm not sure why they call her Carrot, actually. It was probably explained in one of the other episodes, and I just missed it, or maybe it hasn't been explained yet, because that episode is going to be episode 14 of this season or something.
Yeah.
Who knows, right? But yeah, and so yes, her companions don't really know what's going on, what happened, why she's like this, but she passes out after she kills the demon guy, and then they carry her back to the inn that they're staying at, and I guess maybe we'll hear more about it next episode, or maybe episode 14. Who knows?
All right. Sounds good. Well, I'm glad at least it got back on track with stuff you were, more interested in.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, and the octopus thing was explained in this episode, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nothing weird or sexual or anything.
Oh, okay.
It was just a flashback for Sally that we saw, because she goes to another market and someone offers her an octopus, and so then we get the flashback of what actually happened. Her father, who's a king because she's a princess, not anime Princess 14, but a princess. Anyway, her father brings this octopus back to the kingdom to show people, because it's apparently a unique thing, and she gets too close to it and it grabs onto her, and freaks her out, and then so now when she sees an octopus, she freaks out.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Totally innocent.
And it was always portrayed that way.
Hey, it's your dirty mind that made it dirty.
Oh, fair enough. Anime had no faults. Anime in general, I mean. All right, well that's cool. I like that they explain that at least. It was kind of needed to be.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. It's a weird thing to. I don't know why it exists in this show, but maybe it'll make sense in the future.
Perhaps, yeah. I'll be curious.
Or in the past, who knows? With this show.
All right, well that brings us to our next show to talk about, which is My Hero Academia. Not on Funimation. It's on Crunchyroll. Well, it's actually on both.
It's also on Funimation, yeah.
Yeah, but you got options.
Yeah.
This one kind of picks up from where we left off last week, which was I think we both enjoyed a nice drama-filled episode with Endeavor and his family. They had a sort of a family dinner with Deku and Bakugo invited, and it got kind of awkward for them. But then they leave there, and turns out there's this villain from Endeavor's past who, coincidentally, that night is kind of canvassing his house and follows his eldest son. Seems to be older than Shoto anyway. Kind of kidnaps him, and it basically sets up like an opportunity for Shoto, Bakugo, Midoriya to kind of show their stuff after they've been training with I mean there's more to it, like it, of advancing the drama of Endeavor and the relationship with his kids and stuff, but ultimately it also segued that it's like, oh, they've learned stuff and they're ready to do something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know, this story in general is just like, it's not delivering on its promise about being the story of how Midoriya becomes the number one hero. Maybe a little bit in this one, like with the fight at the end, but
because he uses his now second quirk to
that's true,
to save some people in this fight they have trying to save.
Yeah. So I guess he's got that going for him. So eventually he'll get all of the quirks down, and then he'll be the number one hero, right? Yeah.
Seems like a good pathway for him.
Don't even need to watch the show anymore. I already know what's going to
happen. Yeah, I guess that's most of it. I like the Endeavor family drama stuff. I don't know, like this doesn't. I mean, it puts a button on it to a certain extent. It's not like everything's resolved, but because the way it's ending now is like Endeavor is like, all right, I'm gonna get a new house for you guys because clearly you're being targeted because I'm the number one hero,
right?
Which I'm just now thinking about this, and I'm just gonna stay here. So
but a little bit of that. My impression of it was that at least a little bit of that was that their mother was going to be coming home soon, and putting her back in that same house would probably not be good for her mental state.
That's true.
So part of it was to get her into a different place where she'd
which
be
makes
more comfortable.
sense. But then also, like, it seemed like a lot of the kids' issues, especially Shoto's brother, part of the issue seems to be that Endeavor hasn't been around, like has been absent and like not really like a part of the family, like but now his resolution, he's kind of forced into a corner, I guess, but he's like, all right, well, I'm going to distance myself from you guys again, but this time it's for a noble reason.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of weird, but I don't know.
So yeah, I'm just curious where it's going. Like it's been entertaining, and like you said last week, I was more positive on it, and you were like, yeah, it was good. It reminded me that the show should be a lot better, and and you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but hopefully, we'll keep getting something or not, and I'll start reading the manga and then we can talk about that instead. But
that might be the better way to go.
It might, yeah. I more and more I'm leaning that way. We have another show. It's kind of rounding out. We don't have any more episodes left. It's To Your Eternity, holdover from last season, and that's our next show to talk about.
All right,
episode 16 of 20.
Yes. So in this episode, we get a little bit more. We see a little bit more of of Fushi as Perona, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And using her ability to fight to, help him win the tournament, basically. And we also get quite a bit about Tonari.
Yeah, we kind of get her backstory a little bit, some of it.
Yeah.
And then, well, I guess we also didn't establish. I don't think you were fully caught up last week, but the episode prior to this, Fushi ends up beating the knockers with the help of Tonari and these other, people that are on this prison island.
Yeah, for some reason, I watched both of those episodes back to back, so maybe I'm.
Okay, lumped in together.
Yeah.
The only important thing I think from that episode is that they beat the knockers, which beat in quotes. I'm guessing they'll just be back at some point. But the important part is that he got back March and Oniguma, and I think that's it. Had he lost anything else?
Gugu, didn't he lose? Oh no, he lost Gugu at the beginning of the fight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Gugu form or whatever.
So it was lost and then immediately got back.
Yeah.
So that's cool. He at least has it wasn't that them beating the knockers. I was just okay, good job, I guess. Yeah. But it wasn't that emotional or that impactful to me. But it was okay, you got March back, got Oniguma. That's got all your stuff, all your forms back, and that leads into this current episode where he's to do the final Coliseum battle.
Oh yes, okay, that's where this episode starts then.
Yeah, and before that, I think he sneaks into where Pioran is being held captive.
Oh yeah,
and just kind of assures her that I'm just gonna go do this Coliseum battle.
I'm just gonna go win this tournament, and then I'll be king of the island, and I can get you out of here. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So and so you think oh yeah, he's Fushi's immortal, and he's won all the Coliseum battles so far, so this will be a cinch.
Yeah.
But twist.
His opponent in the final is, I don't remember her name.
I wrote it down. I'm going to blow your mind here after I consult my notes. Hayase is her name.
Hayase, who you will remember is the woman who basically kidnapped them way back in the second arc.
Yes.
Kidnapped Perona and I guess Fushi as well.
Yeah.
Sort of kidnapped Fushi.
Yeah.
He just followed along.
But, it wasn't that hard.
Kidnapped Perona and March. And
well, she was originally trying to sacrifice March.
Right.
Due to this village, some sort of, their customs or whatever.
Yeah.
But that all goes awry because Fushi gets involved, and then so then she learns Fushi's immortal. She kidnaps all of them, and then they break free. But then she ends up killing March, and then
now she's Fushi's opponent in this final battle, and it's revealed. I guess it's probably after the fight, which Fushi doesn't win. Spoilers. We're allowed to do spoilers. We're episode what of what?
I know, yeah. No, we're fine. We're fine.
But it's revealed, I think, after the battle is when it's revealed that she's the one that got Tonari to put him and Pioran on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also a scene a couple episodes ago where Fushi was sleeping and some mysterious hooded lady just licks him for some reason.
Oh yeah.
And then we see in the preview for the next episode after this one where she licks him again on the face. She's a licker.
Yeah, and she's wearing that same hood, and we've seen her around wearing the hood. We didn't really know who it was for sure, but
and then supposedly she admits to killing Perona as well.
Yeah,
when he he inexplicably gains Perona's form.
Right. And she says, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
I did that for you.
Prego. And so seemingly it's, she has a chip on her shoulder for Fushi getting away. I don't know why she killed Perona. I mean, just because they got away, she has to unfinished business.
Sort of seemed like just to piss Fushi off.
It's but then he gained her form, so it's, it only really helped him in a way.
It did help him, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what her game is really.
Yeah, I know she's into the his immortality. she has some sort of, we don't know what, but she has plans for that, or got stars in her eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, it's like we only have 4 left, I think, right? Yeah, so it's like, all right, so something with this, and we've kind of been in a lull. I don't know if you agree, but the last, ever since the last emotional arc kind of rounded out.
Yeah, this whole island arc thing is like, it's pretty mediocre.
Yeah, kind of dragging its feet. Like, what are we doing?
I feel like, I don't know. It's weird. I was thinking about it. Like, why did they extend the season to 20 episodes just to cover this arc? Like, it doesn't make sense because, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe it does make sense because you don't want to start a season on this arc because,
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
and I imagine they're just trying to get how to where it's going to end, like something with Hayase and Fushi and Tonari is going to come try to save him, and I don't know what's going to happen, but I imagine like there's some finale they're just trying to get to. Like,
Yeah, it sort of feels like they were trying to, give us an emotional connection to Tonari. Not that they did a real strong job
yeah,
with that, but that probably means that she's going to die, I guess, if we're supposed to have an emotional connection to her. But I don't know. I don't know where this thing's going. I just hope it, I hope it knows and it figures it out soon.
me too.
Yeah.
So we only have 3 more shows to talk about, but we need to wrap up this episode. So I don't know. What do you say we just do a rapid fire, quick thought,
All right.
move on? Because I think the way it's structured now, these shows, we don't have a lot to say about anyway.
Yeah. What do we got?
First one for me is Idaten. Idaten Deities Know Only Peace on Crunchyroll. I was less into this episode than the previous 2, and so it's on the chopping block for me. And so I'm gonna give it a 4th. It wasn't offensive or awful, but it was just really middling and boring. So I'm gonna give it a 4th, and we'll see. So that's really all I got to say.
Yeah, that's sort of how I felt about it from the beginning, but I don't know.
But yeah, and I even admitted to myself that I'd probably drop it eventually, but I just had to see a little more.
It looks cool, like
Yeah,
visually.
cool. And hearing the opening and ending again, like, yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
It's good music.
And then Remake Our Life would be the next one.
Remake Our Life. Yes, I'm still enjoying this. It's still got that, art school, film school vibe thing going on. This one's a little more focused on one of the characters who is a singer, and sort of her getting the opportunity to sing. And there's a whole Maid Cafe thing going on too, but that's not really that important. Anyway, yeah. There's not a lot to say about it. No important story developments, but I'm still enjoying it. That's about all I have to say.
Okay. More to come later with that, I imagine. And then rounding us out, it's Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid S. I like this show.
Second season.
Sloshed. It's a funny show. It has pervy elements, some of which I ignore. And it weighs, the good outweighs the bad. But that being said, it's a light comedy, so there's not much to say. I'll have better thoughts at the end, but yeah.
Wait, I want to dive into this more. It has pervy elements, some of which you ignore.
Yes.
So some you don't ignore then.
Well, some are more like
some
funny.
You enjoy.
Some are funny or like more.
You enjoy the perviness.
Yeah, some of the perviness works better than others.
I just wanted you to say that. That's all.
Like, son of a gun. Like, there's one character who's like clearly an adult aged, who has just this affection for this young boy, and she's constantly being inappropriate, and it's like I roll my eyes every time they're on screen because they just make the same joke over and over. So stuff like that. Other stuff where it's more heartfelt and innocent, but it's
heartfelt perviness.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. You know.
I do know, actually.
but yeah, that's all we got, man.
All right. Yeah. Are there shows that we didn't get to because I didn't watch them?
There's just one, The Drugstore in Another World.
Oh yeah, I just didn't get to this one this week. Not that I was going to have much to say about it anyway. It's a cute show. Like I'll say the exact same thing I would have said had I watched it. It's a cute show. There's not really anything to say. It's your standard slice of life. Cute things happen. Yeah, that's the show.
Ba-boom.
I don't know what else I'll say about it for the rest of the season. I'll let you know if anything important happens, but for now, it's like, whatever. It's not really worth talking about, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's going to do it for this episode of the Like Anime podcast. You can find us on all the social medias. You know those things where you're social on the medias with the internets and the computers. And, you kids know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, you can find us at Like Anime. That's UMLIKEANIME on all of those places. Yeah, one more shout out to our patron. What was it?
Anime Princess 14.
Anime Princess 14.
The
yes.
Duchess.
Yes, the Duchess of the patrons. Yeah, thank you so much. And, if you want to be a patron too, same thing. Like Anime. Patreon.com/likeanime. You can find us there. What else do I want to say? If you take a notion to do so, you could go to any number of the places where you rate podcasts and, just give us a rating, leave a comment, something like that. That'd be super awesome if any of you want to do that. And if you don't, that's fine too. We'll get by. Bye.
Peace.